Well, we're here today with Ira Glass, the host of This American Life, an incredibly popular radio program that has now made the big jump to television. And we're proud to be able to sell This American Life Season 1, now available at Borders stores. Thanks for being here today, Ira.
Glad to be here.
It seems like your fans probably want to talk about the challenges of moving a radio show to television.
Yeah.
But I think that maybe from the flip side, that the television opportunity opened up an entirely new, the medium itself opened up all sorts of new possibilities, I think.
Well, I mean, it's funny. We were reluctant television broadcasters. Showtime first came to us 2 years before we started doing anything for them, maybe even a little longer, and asking us to do a TV show, and we pretty much just kept trying to put them off and didn't take it very seriously. And
you didn't see the possibility yourself?
We had like talked about it a lot once a few years before with some pretty good people, like pretty skilled people, and we felt like we didn't really see how it could be a TV show. And at some point, Showtime just hooked us up with people who seemed like they could do a really nice job and had thoughts about how it could work. And then it entered a kind of like a drug dealer phase where they're like, just shoot 20 minutes, just give it a little taste, just shoot 20 minutes, and you don't have to commit to more than that, just 20 minutes.
Hooked you, clearly.
And well, we shot the 20 minutes, and then like honestly, like the people who we were working with came up with a way of doing it where it felt like the radio show, you know, like it just had a feeling of the radio show, in this way that we really didn't expect. And then it just seemed like it would be fun to try. It would be fun to try to use pictures to tell stories and try to do things that would have the feeling of the stories on the radio show.
Well, the premise is still the same. I mean, your show is still, both shows, radio and television, is still storytelling, anecdotes.
Everyday people.
Everyday folks,
yeah,
wrapped into a larger theme or something to really grab onto that you sort of leave with some larger idea. So you were able to make that jump pretty well, but obviously there are some differences between doing things on the radio. I'm assuming not everything works.
Well, almost nothing works. Like almost everything we do on the radio wouldn't work on television.
Was that an adjustment to have to figure out how that worked?
It was a cruel, horrible, bitter, horrible adjustment, yeah. And right now we're shooting season 2, and I mean, truthfully, the hardest thing is finding stories that where the characters will go through the kinds of interesting things that we want people to go through in a story on our show, and things will happen to them and they'll change, and there'll be a drama that unfolds. To have all that, which we have for the radio show, and then also to have it be something that'll be visually interesting to look at is just an incredible challenge. Like a lot of things that are a good story, it's just there's nothing there to look at, and we want to use the power of the images. Like we want to really use the fact that we're on television and we can, have beautiful pictures.
Well, when you look at a lot of the stories, when you listen to the radio show, and you can be driving along in your car, and you can really get lost in someone telling a story of something that happened long ago.
Yeah.
On television, you don't think about it when you're watching the show because I think you guys do it so seamlessly. But it's an incredible challenge to take a story of something that happened a long time ago and try to piece it together with visuals and not just look at that person's face the entire time.
And truthfully, like the further we got into the season, the more we realized what we really needed was stories that are happening right now. And it's just a really weird thing to say, like, okay, I want a lot of things to happen to this person, but they haven't happened yet, so we're going to start filming them as they happen,
right?
Hoping that they happen, and it's just like
you're
just
a big jump.
Yeah,
totally.
it's a nightmarish jump. Yeah, that's a big jump.
In season 1, there's a scene where there's a huge bull with, and there's a scene that I won't go into all the detail of a person who gets gored, and you're actually there when it happened, which is something that would never happen on your radio show. I mean, it would be told secondhand.
Yeah, we would tell it like, well, that happened to me once upon a time. Yeah, no, and that story. And honestly, it was seeing that scene when we were putting together the first episode that made us realize, like, oh, it would be better if things happened like while we were there. Like the rules, the laws of the rest of television still apply to us too. And
you can put a camera on it and get it. Just be like reporting.
Yeah.
There are some quirks though to the show that's different from the radio thing. One of the things I like about the TV show is the idea of the desk, which just pops up in the landscape, American landscape, in these quirky, unusual places. Where did that come from?
That came out of, there was a big question about whether I should appear in the show, whether you should see me as somebody who's been on the radio for years and years. Like, is it better that I shouldn't be seen at all? And then we figured, like, it seemed weird if I'm not actually on camera hosting the show. And then it wasn't clear, like, how I should appear. Like, it wasn't clear like how to film me. And one of the problems is that there's so many cliches about how to film somebody who's hosting a show, and do they build a set, and I'm sitting in the set, or do I like sort of, when the stories happen, should I just walk through like Rod Serling and say a man and a bull, And our director Chris Wilcha had this idea of like, okay, instead of running away from TV cliche, let's just run towards it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the most cliched thing, which is the host at the desk with the microphone on the desk and the mug, and we're going to do that. You're going to be in a suit. You're going to be like a TV host, except you're going to be in the most random locations ever, and that's what we tried. And they had the advantage of it's visually arresting.